Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Apocrypha, YouTube's only Apocrypha podcast. How's it going, everybody? So we got a full house tonight. So it is myself, Dyra. We got Rook and Mystic that are adjusting their camera, apparently.
Sorry. I just noticed that it was off center and it was bothering me.
So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to Apocrypha. Hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. Hope that you are in good places. Disciple, welcome. Don't worry, I've seen you in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't like typing. So it sounds great that you're collecting slasher horror icons, because why the hell not? And tonight we're going to be talking red string theory. But before we do that, we're going to be listening to Mr. Mystic doing the weekly read with a tarot deck that apparently is related or relation to the red string theory.
Yeah. So I actually do have a tarot that is specifically related to red string theory. It is a Japanese style, which we will talk, I guess, a little bit about. I'm no expert, but that got me thinking, why don't I bring my Weaver tarot? So this is a really, really cool tarot to me. I'll give you the lid. Show that. It's called Threads of Fate. They have quite a few different decks. They're usually pretty minimalist. He's so funny. Our production quality is so high. I love it. One day. So this is specifically the Weaver Tarot, and this is a tarot that's all about how things are interconnected and how we weave our lives. How much of our lives are fate? How much of them are predestined or pre-learned, pre-selected? And does that mean that we still have free will? And this is what the Weaver Tarot kind of explores, is that connection, and that, how far off of the destiny line can you go, and can you change your destiny? Personal beliefs, we can talk about that later when we get to the topic. But for now, I'm just going to pull a couple cards like we normally do and see what we get. That card comes up every freaking week. Not the one on the first one. So the first card is the Magi, the Magus, the Magician. So, as everybody does know, Magician is my favorite card. It's the tarot card necklace that I wear. Is the Magician, and the Magician. What's really cool about the card? Just talking about it. See how like just basic it is, but there's every element represented with the Magician, and he's all about doing the magic, or putting out the magic, doing the actual work, and using all of the things around you and all of the elements around you. So we're entering a time frame, at least for this next week or so, where we need to be utilizing ourselves at full capacity. Doing something partial is not going to get you an outcome that you're looking for. If you are feeling not grounded or not balanced, then when you go out to do what you do, you're going to mess up. You're going to cause problems. You're going to be open to difficulties. Things aren't maybe going to be as safe as they should be. So the recommendation that comes with the Magician, the Magi, I don't know how you say it, they're spelled that way. If it's Magi, I think Magi would be probably the going pronunciation. But regardless, the card is telling you to please go out and use all of the elements, use all of the things that you have to do what you're doing, to keep it together and keep it balanced. It's very easy to work on a project or something and get tied up onto one end of something and not really understand what you're trying to do, or get back to how to get it fully balanced, right? One that I kind of do is, evaluate your project, evaluate what you're doing. Where do I feel heavy? Where do I feel light? And see, if you're elemental basic, do you bring in too much fire to this? I'm all about getting this job done, but wait a minute, I haven't considered what this is going to do down the road, or I haven't considered how this is going to affect my daily life, earth. I haven't considered how this is going to affect those around me, water, right? So think about all of the different aspects of what you're doing and make sure that you're pulling things in a balanced way, because the magician, he's got his wand, he's got his staff, he's got his knife, his bowline or athame, whatever you want to call it. He's got all of his things there and he's ready to use them. And it's just a warning that we need to use them properly. The second card is the card I was saying keeps popping up, and this is the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is decisions. Decisions. Yes or no. There's a decision you need to make and stick to. It doesn't matter which decision you make, because you're going to make the right decision, but you have to make it and you have to stick to it. Making a decision and then going back on it will cause a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulties. The Two of Swords is like, hey, this shit's not easy. We don't necessarily like it. It may not be a good choice. You may not have any good choices, but you'll have to pick one and you have to stick to it. And if you do, your outcomes will be okay. So the next week or so, like I said, because weekly readings, I would really focus on not being wishy-washy, not being, oh, I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not too sure how to do this, or how to make this decision, or I don't want to make this. You got to make it, even if it sucks, and you got to stick to it. And as long as you stick to it and make it based on information that you have, it will be a good decision. And then our final card is the Four of Coins. And the Four of Coins, and this is a little disjointed reading too, because these cards are a little bit interrelated. So we're going to have to weave them together in a minute. Four of Coins by itself means save your money. Stop spending everything. Pause. You need to get a little bit more in your bank account. You need to have a little bit more in I used to call it years ago, the miser card, right? The penny pincher. And the what do you call it? Steam Deck Tarot that I use most often. It's a mechanical arm putting coins into a box. It's saying put your money in the box. So, and it doesn't have to be money, but usually it is with the coins. But we need to store up the things in our house, or the things that we need. So it may not be money. It may be parts for repairing your car. It may be, I can't think of any real good examples right now, but storing up the things that you need of value so that you have them when you need them. I'm trying to think of a good example for just, new house, you need towels. Get a whole, that's a terrible example. I can't think of a good one. But point is getting the things that you need and storing them up and saving them. This is not a time to spend money willy-nilly. It's not a time to let things go. You need to stock them up and save them and keep them. And when we weave all of this together, this is giving us a story of needing to be grounded and balanced. We've pulled swords and we've pulled coins. That's air and earth. Those two elements aren't generally corresponding to each other. So that means that there's some imbalance that we need to pay attention to, and perhaps need to look at pulling in some of the other elements. Air usually just works well with fire. Those are two things that go together. They can burn each other up, or they can blow the fire, or the air can blow out the fire, right? Or you can have a firestorm. Earth and water generally go together. Water can be rough and damaging, but the earth can kind of control water with a river. So there's these complementary things. Air and earth don't complement each other as well because they're very independent and they can spin out of control on their own. So when they're the only two elements that are showing up, that tells me we need to bring in some fire energy and some water energy to kind of pull our things back down. If we go back to the magician, and he's telling you to do all this work and be balanced, then this read is telling you it's time to pull in some high activity from the fire around you and some water activity to make things considered and deliberate. So weaving all that together is really trying to make sure that when we do what we do, whatever we're working on this week, whatever our plans are, that we're thoughtful of them, that we're thinking about them, that we're balancing them, that we're not spending unnecessary money, which I've already done. So too late on that one. But yeah, so that's where we are.
Good times.
Happy hunting.
Good times.
I'm just trying to see why Rook is standing in the corner, still in the dark, staring at me. It's very creepy.
No kidding more. Cards full of clarifiers.
All right. Very cool. That was actually a really good read. Even though I only paid attention about half of it.
Well, since you didn't pay attention, save your money, stop spending shit on stupid stuff. I don't know if that means anything.
Interesting.
What? What if I spent money on that's stupid?
You haven't. It's just
Oh, God.
we had a conversation earlier, didn't we, about money?
We did have a conversation about money. So, but
That was fun.
yeah. So anyway, getting into today's topic. Bring this over here. Drop that over here. Wow, that's really small. All right. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is the red string theory. Right? It's something that I see kind of floating around the socials quite a bit. The idea, like, it's kind of like this Chinese mysticism is kind of where I found that it originally comes from. The idea that everybody is connected by some weird random red string. Yeah, the reason I chose to talk about this is because one of the things that I think is overly put out there on the internet, in the occult circles, is this obsession with soulmates, twin flames. Now it's the red string theory, right? That everyone has like one person that's meant for them in their lives, and this, that, and the next thing. And I think that it's not that I don't necessarily believe in these things, but I think that they can potentially become very dangerous. Okay. I think a lot of these things enable codependent behavior, unhealthy codependencies. And I think it's something that needs to be further examined and looked at and spoken about instead of romanticizing about this shit. So one of your least favorite topics? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Or like least favorite as in least like how so? Like, are you leaving tonight? Like, you know.
Well, I would say I'm gonna guess, and Tresap can correct me. I could be way off here, but just from the little I know about little Tresap, I'm betting it's annoying and frustrating to her to hear this topic because it's so people treat it so juvenilely and just talk about it so superficially and don't like. There's never people just throw it around like, and whether it's real or not, I don't even think matters at this point. It's just God, people are just oh my soulmate, yeah. And that's you know what I mean, and that's it, and that's really annoying. that's my take.
The UK and find your person. I doubt it is true.
Right? You back to the UK and find your person. I doubt it's true. Yeah, right. So
Good point, Maeve.
I have this broken down. So originally this was supposed to be a Satan Coffee episode, but when I mentioned it to Dyra's like, "Ooh, I'd like to talk about that." And I was like, "Okay." So we'll make it an Apocrypha episode then. And it does. I do feel like, nah, please don't apologize. Fuck no, I won't leave. Everything. And said, you know me too well.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I can hear us in a conversation about this. She's like, "Oh God, no, this is ridiculous." I can hear it in voice too. Like it's funny.
Right. So what we're going to be breaking down, right? So we're breaking down the idea of metaphysical string theory, what it is, where it came from, and why it's not as sweet as you think. We're gonna my side of things are definitely going to be including the a little bit of the demonic and some Jungian insight, and we're not here to romanticize fate. We're here to confront it, dissect it, and then ask if you're still hiding behind it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Okay, so the origins of this thing. All right, so what is string theory in the spiritual New Age sense? And did it exist before pop spirituality? Which, by the way, this is a phrase that I'm coining. Okay, pop spirituality, because that's what the fuck it is, right? Social media, like a lot of the spirituality that you find on social media, it's like just very poppy, And so, yes, it is pop spirituality.
Up
So the
goes
modern
me.
interpretations, the red thread of fate, it has East Asian origins. So China, Japan, and Korea. That's where it comes out of. Okay. Belief that souls are bound by an invisible red thread connecting destined individuals, usually used in romantic or twin flame contexts, is how this thing is used. Go ahead, Mystic.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's the first thing that comes to mind with this is if we go and look at the origins of something like the red string theory, which I don't know when it's got its name, I don't know any of that stuff, but if we go, I think, and it's an assumption, deep enough into looking something like this, what I would expect to find is that those that are in this, the Eastern atmosphere, environment, or the Chinese mythology, they're very different than those of us that are adopting this from afar, just like anything else that we talk about, right? So I want to be kind of on the side of, I am not mocking and don't want to say, yeah, it's appropriate or your beliefs are good or bad. My problem with it is in your context of the current pop culture viewing this as something, just without even knowing what it really is. Like, I can't speak on the topic. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know details about it. I do know I've heard of it before. I actually have a red string over here, which is representative of the red string theory that I got with one of my I don't even know what you call the chakra things that I have set up over here. And it was a gift, and it's got a coin in it, and it's all about that red string theory of the destined across time. And with the red string theory, it is your soulmate that's destined across time, and it kind of talks about how you I don't know how you like I see it like kind of as a slinky through time. There's a connection here and here, maybe in this lifetime, and then if you believe in reincarnation, years later there's another connection, and it's two different people, but it's still that same soul that's connected. And so there's all these things and beliefs in it that I think are pretty cool. What I don't like is when little Missy Melinda says, my soulmate is, and I'm a red string theorist. Because that's going to be a thing now, right? I'm Melissa, the red string theorist.
Oh, is she on that?
No, I'm just being stupid. But it's the pop part of it that pisses me off. I don't know enough about it, is my point, like to really
right
speak on whether it's something, although I can talk about fate. But I just was throwing that out there.
So just to kind of give more context to it, I mean, you might not know much about the red string theory, but there's other things further in, history that are similar to it. And there's also like a Jungian concept that is connected to it, right? So there's the Greek moirari, right? The fates, right? Is what we're talking about. Moirai. No?
What is it again?
How would you pronounce that?
Moire?
Moire? Okay. So the one spinning the thread of life, cutting it at death, right? The Greek fates. The Norse Norns. Udir.
The Norns, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That one I know.
Skuld, weaving the fate of men. The Kabbalah, interconnectedness via the tree of life. And then Jung's collective unconscious and archetypal threads connecting human psyches through time. These are all things that are similar, right? So even though it's not specifically red string, it's just like it's become kind of like this new pop sensation talking about an age-old concept, which is soulmates, right?
Yeah.
And
which is not the same as twin flames, just so people know.
Yeah, no, I mean, even though a lot of people there are a lot of people that incorrectly use twin flame and soulmate interchangeably. But I mean, the whole concept of a twin flame is just disgustingly unhealthy. And it's just horrible that people use that. Like, I mean, so there was somebody that we had on the show We've mentioned him a few times. We haven't mentioned him by name. He was the one that thought Lucifer made a black portal above his altar and reached his hand out and choked him.
I remember his name too.
Yeah, we're not going to say it though.
No, I remembered it like right after the show. We mentioned it last time.
Yeah, so one of the catalysts for his stuff being removed is he was stalking someone. We had found out later after having him on the show 2 or 3 times. He was stalking someone. Again, we're not going to mention names. And he was using the twin flame concept as an excuse to say why they should be together and why it was justifying. It was his reasoning for stalking this person. And it's just kind of like, this is the problem with this shit. If you're not careful with it, if you don't understand it 100%, it becomes dangerous. It becomes a concept that people can use to justify just bad actions. Like it just justifies bad actors, right? And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, is because it seems like every few years we kind of keep coming out with a new thing that justifies the idea of soulmates and twin flames and stuff like that, that, you know, we've been connected for all eternity. We've been together in past lives. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, if you love and care about somebody, you love and care about somebody, but like, you know, don't fucking, you know, go off the fucking deep end with it like a goddamn crazy person. You know, I mean,
This sounds a lot like being in hell for 1800 years. Birds of a feather, I'm saying.
So that's the origins, right? So that this is what I was able to kind of find and kind of put together in terms of like where this stuff comes from. Like similar concepts in different cultures, things like this. And every culture kind of has its own kind of vibe when it comes to like people being connected and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Asian backing of it, where this one specifically comes from, the red string theory, it's not just in a romantic sense. It's usually used to justify a romantic relationship, but it isn't exclusively romantic. It's that all people are connected in destiny to meet each other at some point for different reasons, right? And it's not just romantic or falling in love or being in a relationship. It's friends, it's business partners, it's somebody that beat the shit out of you in high school. You know, it's all of these things are connected in the red string theory. And the reason why I think the red string theory is dangerous right now is because the only fucking part people talk about is the romantic aspect of it. Nobody knows the full picture, like how the whole thing works.
And I don't want to be that one, but I'm going to be that one when it comes to consent, right? The red string theory doesn't absolve through consent. Both parties kind of have to be involved to connect, right? So if you find your twin flame, just for everybody, as a PSA, if you find your twin flame or your red string mate, and they're not your twin flame and they're not your red string mate, like that's just that. Like that's you need help, and I hope you find it.
I will find you.
Definitely.
That's exactly what I'm hearing in my head.
I will find
you.
you. What's that? Something about Mary?
No, I don't remember what that was.
Sorry. I'm gonna skip over kind of the demonic mirror right now. We'll get into that in a little bit later. So the second part of this is kind of looking at it through like a demonic lens, but because the only two people that work with the demonic in this conversation is Dyer and myself.
Working with is a stretch at the moment.
Yeah, right. But here's also another thing. So I call this section, I call it "You Can Still Fuck It Up." Okay. So even if string theory is real, even if it's real, so is failure. Okay. Here's an example. So if you ever met someone and knew instantly they'd matter, then ruined it with your own self-destruction, the thread pulled you, your free will cut it. So just because these things exist, like may exist, right? We don't know 100%. It doesn't absolve you of responsibility to your actions. It doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want to do free of consequence, and it doesn't matter that because this person's your twin flame, because this person's your soulmate, because this person was drawn to you by the red string, that you can treat them like shit, you can be a jackass, you can be a horrible person, and they have to stay with you. They have to be with you because of this idea. It's disgusting. It honestly really, really is. Right? The whole concept of right person, wrong time is a romantic lie. There is no right time. There is only now or never. Right? And don't mistake inertia for fate. All right? It was meant to be is often just a justification for passivity. So, yeah, the thread doesn't guarantee success. The twin flame concept doesn't guarantee success. The soulmate concept doesn't guarantee success. We still fall onto this left-hand path ideal. You need to be responsible for your own actions. It's okay to feel like you were meant to be with someone, that there's just this instant spark and connection. And if it's mutual, if it's reciprocated, and you're both happy with it, that's great. But if you turn out to be something that that person doesn't want, you have no right to try to force it because you have this unhealthy idea in your head that spiritually speaking, you're supposed to be together. That's kind of disgusting. One of the things that I've always told Dyra from the beginning, I love you enough to let you go.
Bye.
I knew that was coming. Knew it.
And
no.
It was good.
No.
so in the point behind that statement is to say that when you love somebody enough, you want them to be happy, even if it isn't with you. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be happy seeing them with somebody else. You probably shouldn't be looking into their shit and seeing it. But it's to say that I'm not going to hold on for dear life if you want to get away. I'm not going to hold you hostage in this. So, and I think that this is a concept that people need to learn. Like, I really do, because there's so much unhealthy shit going on. So, gentlemen, what do you think?
Just from like an opposite, I know this is beating a dead horse, but I think if we approach it from the idea that somebody who believes in reincarnation and red string connection, or whatever you want to call it, I think what Little Tree Sap is probably a critical key component to that. Somebody who is mature and they say, I've met my soulmate is, but we're not together in this lifetime. We might be together in another one. They let that go. That string doesn't break in that theory. That string stays tangled and they try again in another lifetime. I think that's a fair way to look at it from the perspective of somebody who believes in reincarnation, that believes in that anything. But on our side of it, I definitely feel like if a person, a human, anybody in our circle or in anywhere, we don't allow connections to grow at a rate that is organic. Some people get together really fast, and that's fine. Some people take a long time to get together. That's fine. Some people try to force a relationship because they hate themselves. That's common, right? And so if you look back, and for me, like all of my past relationships, they were all pushed. There was all one of us, either myself or the other person, was pushing to make it work, and knowing that be a good fit, right? If we're talking about the romantic section or piece of it. So When you let that go, when you mature, when you start learning about who you are and what you're capable of and what you bring to the table to somebody, and you say to yourself, nah, I'm not in this. This is not right. I'm not doing this. I'm my own person. You walk into a new relationship or the next relationship with that maturity about myself. I'm going to meet somebody. Things are going to happen, and you're going to grow organically into that relationship. Then people do meet their twin flames, if that's what they want to call it, or their red string person, or whatever it is, that other person, because they're no longer searching to complete their flame. I don't need somebody to come and light my candle, you know? But that, or if you want to talk about it like metaphorically, right? Most people are looking for somebody to come complete them. That to me is what's most dangerous. Not even the hostage, because that all comes after that. It's forcing somebody to come and bring a lighter, and the person you've picked to come light your candle is a flamethrower. Right. But you know what? Maybe a bottle of TNT and I need a flamethrower. That's not the person for me. And I think people just, from that perspective, I think we don't allow relationships to kind of become what they are. Let them organically grow and not try to force them. And people that are so desperate to find their soul flame, their twin flame or their soulmate or whatever, their soul flame, the twin mate.
You just coined the you just coined the new thing that everybody's gonna start fucking. You're my soul flame.
Oh my God, it's coming.
It is.
Sorry about it, but I mean that's what it is for me. Is
get the napkins.
Everything that we're talking about is based upon human beings being immature and or inability and unable to be okay with who they are as a person first.
Yep.
Once you settle that part, I think the twin flame idea is pretty cool. I think the soulmate idea is pretty cool. But then we get into what I think, Adius, what you're talking about specifically is when somebody's using that, the basis for trying to hold you hostage or forcing you into an abusive relationship or, keeping you together, and they just latch on it, not realizing that it's a complete projection of their failures at themselves, right? Because that's what it boils down to.
And I think if that really is your soulmate, then it's not. It just is.
It just is.
You don't say it because that's manipulation. If you're telling somebody, "Oh, you're my soulmate," you're trying to make them, in the normal sense, stay with you or whatever. It is.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry. I read what Maeve said at the same time.
Sorry. I think it can be manipulation, and it's loneliness. I think it's not something that you would say or if it really was, it would just be.
I think people are using the term incorrectly too.
Correct.
I think that's another big point that you're making, is what they're talking about is not soulmates, and they're using that as a way to manipulate and gaslight people into things.
There's some people that have been married 4 times, and I want to say a lot of times they
Kim
said,
Davis,
that's my soulmate. I'm like, how many soulmates do you have, and how depressing that each one you thought was your soulmate didn't work out in that physical sense. I mean, I know there's other ways, but
I'm interested to hear Dyra.
Oh yeah, I want to hear Dyra.
Yeah.
So I hear about twin flames and soulmates the most through clients, mainly through readings and things like that. And every time I get a question, like a legitimate question about am I going to find my twin flame and my soulmate this, I literally want to refund them their money because I cannot be fucking arsed to have that conversation. And it's a difficult conversation to have because it's like, if you believe that, then what can I do? What can I do with that? I feel like it's not actually my place to tell you that that's not real, because it clearly is to you. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But what I find really interesting is people get so fixated on people that they don't know. They don't actually know them well at all.
Scary.
They can't tell me 5 things they like about this person. And I think that's just such an addictive nature in relationships, because we're not focused on the other person, we're focused on how they make us feel. And that's what gets us into those addictive dynamics and codependency and things like that. It's like with me and you, we spent a long time getting to know each other. Like, yeah, once we finally like met up in person, we pretty much moved in together straight away. But there was, you know, at least like a year of getting to know each other. So it's like, you know, I knew you enough to know that the feelings I had for you weren't based on how you made me feel. So I think that's an important thing as well. It's just like, it's not love, it's limerence, it's this obsession. People will tend to get really obsessed with people that don't want them. And that's something that, you know, requires a lot of personal work. And, you know, I think most of us have probably been there at some point. And I think with things like the red string theory, it kind of came from a nice place. You know, if we look back at ancient cultures, they've got, you know, their love stories and things like that, and how that's progressed in our evolution, and like with goth culture and things like that. Like, it's a really beautiful artistic thing, but we have changed it into something toxic because we can't determine reality from fantasy, basically. And I also find what's interesting about twin flames is people just make shit up. It's like 5 signs you've met your twin flame, there's an age gap. Like, the fuck is that? How is that related to literally anything? So, you know, people make it fit. It will always fit because you have this bias, you know. Obviously, everyone that you've ever fallen in love with, you think that there's a past life connection there. Obviously, you think that they're your soulmate, and then like you meet the next person, you're like, oh no, it's this one, I'm sure about it this time, you know. It's just not a way to go about your relationships. If you want longevity and you want something stable and healthy and interdependent rather than codependent, it's...
I think that goes into what something Mystic said. He was talking about finding someone to complete you. I think you need to find someone to complement you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It's like with like interdependence versus like codependence, it's like I can acknowledge that like I need you, and you can acknowledge that like you need me, but it's not in like a toxic way. It's like fulfilling our roles as partners to be there for each other and to hold each other. You know, it's not like I
need you to survive.
Yeah, exactly. And it might feel like that, but you know, fundamentally, you know that isn't true. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And I mean, that was more like 50, but you know, no, I'm glad you dug into it. I really am. So this kind of brings me into everything that Dyra's talking about, brings me into the next part, basically talking about new age addiction, right? So the overuse of thread theory becomes as cliche and toxic as soulmate discourse. Twin flames equals ego inflation, okay? Used to excuse codependency and trauma bonding. The whole idea, the whole phrase, it hurts because it's meant to, is psychotic. That's not fate, that's Stockholm syndrome.
I've never heard that.
Ooh, I've heard it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so the occultist responsibility, you're not here to be saved. You're here to become. Some threads bind, others bleed. Learn the difference, right? Gnostic concepts of the bride of sacred other. Sometimes there is a transformational presence in your path, but the transformation is yours to own.
I also think that it's interesting how people are like, when am I going to meet my soulmate? When am I going to meet my twin flame? She's like, okay, let's say that those concepts are real, just for the sake of this imaginary person that I'm talking about, just for the sake of that narrative. What are you doing in terms of like your own self-work to bring that about? Because the amount of people I speak to who say they want something and the way that they conduct themselves and live their lives does not align with what they're saying that they want. And that's not just down to like, you know, romantics, but it happens a lot. It's like, and it's difficult because it's like you can see it so plainly, but like there are just things it's not your place to say. So
Talk about the secret now.
yeah. So
It is, right? The secret, the law of attraction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I don't know. I do have a client who has a certain lifestyle and at the same time says that like she wants marriage, but like in the same breath will say something completely in opposition to that she's currently doing. And I'm just sort of like, you know, you need to kind of make up your mind, because, you know, when we're trying to, when we have a goal in life and something we want, you know, we can end up like just pushing that away through, you know, being stuck in patterns. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when it comes to the idea of soulmates and twin flames and stuff like that, I'm not saying that it's not necessarily like that it's not true, but I think that there's other things that need to be looked at, and I think people need to be careful with this stuff, because I have seen too many situations where it's been used to control someone else and make them feel guilty for not wanting to be in a situation. And it just becomes, like I said, it becomes cliche and toxic.
It can become a manipulation tactic.
Yes.
Like, you know, if there's someone that knows like the other person's really into this like new age shit, and even if they don't believe it, they can be like, oh, but you know, I think we're twin flames. Very good point to make. I don't know what that noise was. So Robert Greene, is it Robert Greene that wrote the 42 Laws of Power? Not set 42, 72. I can never remember how many fucking laws of power there's meant to be, but he also did he also did The Art of Seduction, and when you found that in my house, you became very concerned. Because it's basically a manual to manipulate someone through seduction. So you might have seen these ads online which like find out your seductive type. Are you the siren or the lover or the queen or the rake? Or
I hate those things.
Oh my god, they're the worst. But anyway, that idea originated, at least how we know it today, from Robert Greene's work. So in The Art of Seduction, one of the kind of principles in there is to make the relationship seem divine and meant to be. Use celestial language. You know, make it that sacred and that special. So that is
skeevy.
A written manipulation tactic. So yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to add on to is the whole, you guys kind of mentioned kind of like the law of attraction. I think the law of attraction is also one thing that's looked at incorrectly. You're not attracting things to you. You're moving yourself in a different direction. Like when you want something and you have a goal set, you begin to start moving in different circles. You begin to start looking for things that fit that goal. And it might feel like things are coming to you, but you're going to them. So there's a bit of truth in the idea of the law of attraction, that when you have a goal and you focus on that goal, you begin to kind of subconsciously kind of move yourself in that direction. But please don't sit there and think that you're actually pulling shit to you, because you're not. You are doing the work. Don't lessen yourself and your own ability to obtain your goals by saying that you're bringing something to you. You are going to it, and you're doing the work, and you're putting the work in to get to that goal and obtain that goal. So it does matter your focus. It does matter your dedication. It does matter the passion that you have behind a goal. All of that matters, because if you're not dedicated to your goal, if you're not passionate about your goal, then you're not going to be moving towards that goal. And a lot of people, what irritates me with the whole law of attraction idea is when you do get someone, for example, like myself, that has ADHD, where I do have a goal, but I switch shit up like really quick, right? Or I get bored of what I'm doing really fast because, you know, it's not giving me the results that I want, right? People turn around and sit there and say, well, you know, it must not be meant to be. And it's like, no, you're just not doing the fucking work. Like, there's nothing that's meant to be. Nothing is meant to be. Put the work in. As long as you have that dedication, you have that passion, and you have that goal mindset, then you'll likely obtain what you want to obtain. You know? And sometimes when you get to that point, you know, it doesn't come around the way that you want it to. You know, I've always wanted to work in the music industry. I do. Not in the capacity that I kind of want to be, but I do. You know, I do work in the music industry. And yeah, it's just one of those things. You need to push yourself forward to get to those things. Law of attraction, it should be called kind of like the law of direction, is what it should be called.
I like the law of attraction. I like the idea of to me, it's a hermetic principle, right? It's so with as within, so with it, so without, and vice versa. You set yourself up on one plane of existence to be and do what you want to do, and you reach out and get it, and that sets the outside environment around with it. But people forget that it takes action, activity to do that. Like, you can't, oh, bring me money. Bring me my soul flame. I mean, my twin heart. What is it? Twin flame, soulmate.
I'm gonna get that second job.
Yep, I'm gonna need some extra money for that.
Better get that second job.
So I think a good kind of like ending concept here, like there's some kind of closing points that I have. So if you believe in the red string theory, if you believe in twin flames, if you believe in soulmates, whatever, then don't burn your thread, but don't worship it either. Right? Don't worship these concepts. Right? Be responsible, be accountable. Right? And don't use this shit to manipulate someone that you want to be with. Like, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Right? You know, and the devil doesn't tie you to destiny. He hands you the blade to carve your own fate, and maybe the strength to weave with someone else. So, any closing ideas, love?
No, I don't think so.
No? Just don't be a dick? Okay. Gentlemen?
Mine's the same thing that I said earlier. The worst thing this is just my opinion, the worst thing that you can do is try to find somebody else to complete you before you've completed yourself. Not saying we're ever done. You're always working on yourself, but it just doesn't work. You will end in heartache or hurt somebody over and over and over. I've done it. Yeah. You cannot complete yourself through somebody else. We are all individual, independent things.
Yep. Be good to yourself, love yourself, and save yourself from a lot of discipline.
Go home, RuPaul.
Look, but it's true. Like what all you
let me say how the hell you going.
I mean, that's not what I meant.
I know what you mean.
You're going to disappoint yourself if you
very much
put all your faith in that.
Just kind of watching you guys go at it.
That's not what I meant. Oh, right. Wait a minute.
Look, I can just hit this delete button right here and delete your face.
All right. So with all of that being said, I thank you guys for all of you for being here. You guys are fucking amazing. Again, you guys are the reason we do this. Tomorrow, Satan and Coffee, 10 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Standard Time. Are you gentlemen doing your thing tomorrow?
I am pretty sure we are. It's not going to be a long one though, because we have a lot of things planned tomorrow. We have a 12 o'clock appointment. So we have,
Okay.
it'll be a short no tarot probably.
Fair enough. Yeah, Satan and Coffee tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Yeah, Treesap, I'm doing it 3 days a week. It's Wednesdays and Fridays at 6:30 in the morning.
And you've been really consistent.
I have been.
Well.
I have been.
Really good. Very proud.
So yeah, Satan and Coffee is Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, right? So Wednesdays and Fridays are 6:30 in the morning Mountain Standard Time, and the Sunday edition is 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So yeah, hope to see more of you there. I know it's an early one, but also to let you guys know, all of the podcasts that we're doing. On Monday, I am uploading all of them to Spotify. So for those of you that want to listen to one of these on the way to work or something, they are all getting uploaded to Spotify. The last episode of Apocrypha we did, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, is up there. So I'm uploading Satan and Coffee. I'm uploading Apocrypha. They're all getting uploaded to Spotify. So come Monday morning, I'm uploading all of them, and you guys can listen to them there. And so what I'm doing is I'm uploading them one a day. So I scheduled them. So the last one gets uploaded first, and then each consequential day after that, it hits Spotify. It gets released on Spotify at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that means you get a new episode to listen to throughout the week up until Thursday on Spotify. So
Awesome.
There you go. If you're wondering what the link is to the Spotify, all you have to do is look up Adius Dade on Spotify, or there's a community note thing that has the link to it. So you can click on that too. And follow it, please. So more people can, find this, like it, comment on it, share this, share the show, right? So more people, push it on your social media so more people can, experience Apocrypha and Satan and Coffee, and eventually coming back into Adversary, my adversary, right? So, and with Dyra feeling a little bit better, I'm feeling comfortable in saying I think there might be an episode of Adversary coming up soon, I'm not going to say tomorrow, but soonish. Yeah. So, and if anyone's interested in Infernal Compass and what that's about, you get a free 30-minute session. You can just go to, what is it?
Blackmagicdiary.com. Blah, 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 blah.
No, it's blackmagicdiary.setmore.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so blackmagicdiary.
I'll put it in the chat. I can't speak, apparently.
So
is
if
good.
you want to schedule a 30-minute session for free and get the first pillar of Infernal Compass for free, okay, there's 6 pillars. You get the first pillar for free. A free 30-minute session with me, one-on-one. It's blackmagicdiary.setmore.com. All right? So, that being said, thank you all. You guys are fucking amazing. And as always, hail thy fucking self. I'll see you in the next one. Peace the fuck out.
Oopsies.